There's a particular kind of quiet that can settle in the middle of a hug. You're standing close to him. The conversation has gone well. There's no tension, no awkwardness. He steps in, and his arms come around you. The pressure is steady. His hands are where they should be. Nothing about it looks wrong. And yet, in those 2 or 3 seconds, something registers. His body is there, but a part of him isn't. It's subtle, a slight holding in the shoulders, a breath that never quite deepens, a sense that while his arms are holding you, some quiet part of his attention has already taken a half step back. You don't pull away. You don't say anything. The hug ends normally. He smiles. You smile. Everything on the surface is fine, but later, driving home or sitting alone in the kitchen, the feeling remains. Not rejection, not discomfort, something quieter and harder to name. The strange experience of being held and still feeling slightly alone. If this has ever happened to you, I want you to hear something clearly. You are not imagining it, and you are not being overly sensitive. At this age, the body often tells the truth faster than conversation ever can. I want to tell you about Elaine. She's 63. After a long marriage that ended without drama, she began dating again. The first few men were either too eager or too distant. Then she met a man of 66, steady, polite, easy to talk to. He asked about her children, about her days, about the small things that make up a life. Elaine felt something she hadn't felt in a long time, a quiet sense of safety. The 4th time they met, they stood beside his car after dinner. He stepped forward and hugged her. It wasn't clumsy. It wasn't too long or too short. His arms were firm enough. From the outside, it was a perfectly acceptable hug, but Elaine noticed the small things. His shoulders stayed a little high. His breath remained shallow. And when he stepped back, his eyes had already moved slightly away, as if the moment of contact had ended in his mind a second or two before his arms actually released her. On the drive home, she wasn't angry. She felt something closer to a soft emptiness. She caught herself wondering, the way many women do at this age, am I asking too much? Is it ridiculous to analyze a simple hug? What Elaine was sensing is more common than most people admit. And the important part is not what she felt. The important part is what was happening inside the man. After 55, 60, 65, many men carry a quiet form of self-protection that has been shaped over decades. It is rarely dramatic. It doesn't look like coldness or rejection. It looks like presence that is almost complete, but not quite. A long marriage can teach a man that closeness has costs. Years of living alone after divorce or loss can teach him that solitude is safer than full arrival. Even a life that looks settled on the outside can leave a man with a nervous system that has learned to keep a small internal distance, just enough to remain in control of how much of himself he offers. When he hugs a woman, that internal distance often shows first in the body. The arms do what is expected. The posture may even look grounded. But somewhere in the shoulders, in the breath, in the subtle readiness to step back, the body reveals that part of him has not fully entered the moment. This is not usually a conscious decision. Most men in this situation believe they are simply hugging the way a decent man hugs. They do not realize that a portion of their attention has remained slightly outside the contact. Observing, managing, protecting the private space they have spent years learning how to maintain. The result is exactly what Elaine felt. The strange, quiet experience of being held by someone whose body is present while a part of him has already stepped back. And for many women over 55, that feeling is deeply familiar. It is also deeply confusing because nothing is wrong enough to name, yet something essential is missing. Most men do not set out to hold themselves back. The distance is rarely intentional. It is the result of years of quiet adaptation. A man who has lived through a long marriage often learns that physical closeness can slowly turn into expectation. What begins as warmth can, over time, become another place where he is asked to provide steadiness, reassurance, or emotional weight. After the marriage ends, or after years of living alone, Many men rebuild their lives around a form of self-containment that feels safer. They learn how to manage their own days, their own silence, their own evenings. Solitude becomes familiar, it becomes reliable. When a new woman enters the picture, the arms can still open, the body can still perform the gesture of closeness. But the nervous system remembers the cost of full arrival. So a small part of him stays slightly outside the moment, not as rejection, but as protection. He can be near without fully landing. He can offer contact without completely surrendering the internal space he has worked hard to keep intact. This is why the hug can feel technically correct and still leave a quiet absence. The body is doing what is expected. The deeper system is still guarding something. Martha Graham once said a simple sentence that holds a great deal of truth. The body never lies. The body does not negotiate the way the mind does. It does not offer explanations. It simply reveals the state a person is actually in. When a man's shoulders remain slightly raised, when his breath stays shallow, when his attention has already begun to withdraw even while his arms are still around you, the body is speaking honestly about the level of openness that is available in that moment. Esther Perel has observed something similar in her work with couples, particularly those in later stages of life. She has noted that for many men, the body remains the most direct language of closeness, and precisely because of that, it is also the place where unfinished self-protection shows itself most clearly. Words can be careful. The body is less able to hide what is still held in reserve. This is the part that often confuses women. Nothing dramatic has happened. He was polite. He initiated the hug. He did not pull away roughly. And yet the nervous system of the woman registers a subtle incompleteness. She feels held, but not fully met. The contact is present, but the presence is partial. Many women at this age then turn the question inward. They wonder if they are asking too much. They wonder if, after everything they have already carried in previous relationships, they should simply be grateful for whatever closeness is offered. They wonder if noticing the absence makes them difficult or overly analytical. I want to say this clearly. You are not too much. You have never been too much. The capacity to sense when someone is only partially present is not a flaw. It is a form of clarity that often develops after years of carrying more than your share of the emotional weight. At this stage of life, your body has learned to distinguish between contact and real arrival. That distinction is valuable. It is not something to override or apologize for. The insight is simple, and it is rarely spoken directly. After 55, a hug is often less about attraction and more about capacity. It becomes a quiet moment in which a man's body reveals whether he is still able to lower his internal defenses and fully enter the space with another person, or whether he has learned, over decades, to keep a measured distance even while holding someone. That small distance is what creates the feeling of being held and still slightly alone. It is not a judgment of his character. It is information about the emotional architecture he is living with at this point in his life. When you begin to recognize this, something shifts. You stop questioning your own perception. You stop trying to fill the quiet gap with more warmth, more understanding, or more effort. You simply see what is actually available. And at this age, that kind of clear seeing is one of the most protective things you can offer yourself. It does not require confrontation. It does not require testing. It only requires that you no longer convince yourself that partial presence is the same as being truly met. Some men can still arrive fully. Their bodies soften. Their breath deepens. The moment feels complete even if it lasts only a few seconds. Others, for reasons that have more to do with their own history than with you, remain slightly braced. Both are real. Both are information. The difference is that once you can feel the distinction, you are no longer left wondering what is wrong with you for noticing it. You are simply free to choose what kind of presence you are willing to stand inside of, and what kind of quiet loneliness you are no longer willing to carry while being held.